garbage. Like,
cheap piece of shit. What is this thing?
you know what I've been going to? My go-to now when something doesn't go right? This fucking country.
this fucking country's in the shitter.
It's just, it puts a stop to it. It makes me laugh. It honestly makes me laugh when I realize how ridiculous I'm getting mad, and I'm just like, and then when I say that, I get a smirk on my face.
This fucking country.
Ever
since Reagan left office, it just hasn't been the same.
I would have been one of those people in the Continental Congress that had just been, like, as soon as the Constitution was signed, I'd be like, country's going in the shitter.
It's going in the shitter.
So, I figured it for our first topic.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, this is the Nick and Keelan podcast.
Right.
We're going quantity over quality at this point. It's a cash grab.
Yeah, all the proceeds go to us. That's
I've heard that Spotify pays out pretty much if you get a lot of views, right? Like a nickel?
If you're lucky, you get a nickel. I think they pay like 30 cents on 1 million streams or something like that.
Oh my God.
But you know what? That's after, like, you got agents and publishers and songwriting. Like, we own 100% of this, so like we'll get like 70 cents for every stream.
That's like, I don't, sometimes I start thinking I honestly think in metaphors at this point, or analogies, and like when you said we own all of it, I just pictured a backyard full of manure and you saying, we own all of it, Nick. It's ours.
It's all ours.
Look at you. You're just kissing it. Sweet manure.
It's mine.
But I was going to start off this whole podcast with music. In any facet. Well, the first idea I had about music is that it was something you said. There's just so much content out there.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with. It's hard to like really dig and find something you like, because it's just.
I would argue it's harder to be a musician, and this is my I guess being an edgelord.
It's okay.
It's easier to get money as a hobo or a homeless person than a musician. Getting someone to buy something. Like, if a homeless person came up to you and said, man, I'm hard on my luck, I need $10, would you give it to him?
I mean,
if someone said, hey man, this is my new band, will you buy my CDs? $10.
I'd say, who do you think you are?
Exactly.
What are you?
Isn't it? Like when there's a homeless person, you're like, man, that sucks to be down on your luck. But when you come up to somebody, you're like, here's my art, would you buy it? It's more the gesture. They're like, no.
I think there's like a resentment there when someone actually has the gall to become an artist.
Wow, I didn't even think about it like that.
You're like, you know what? You're not supposed to make money off this. I wanted to be an artist too, and I sold out. So you know what? No. I'm not giving you a goddamn dime.
That is... I didn't even think about it like that. Like, no, that just brings a different element to it. Like, but I mean, yeah, that like people. Whoa! You almost
driving, by the way,
man.
This is gonna be it, Nick.
We're shooting this podcast in Keelan's car as we drive. That's the whole idea of this whole podcast. Is we are doing this from his car, driving to the gigs. And someone almost cut us off. I thought, when I started thinking about doing this idea, my dream was to become so engrossed in this podcast, like, those people that just do selfies while they're driving their car and they just lose. Like, I was hoping that's what I'm aspiring.
We're just going to get so into it that Jesus take the wheel. And we go. So yeah, back to music.
Well, that's what I'm saying is today it's almost harder to be a musician, like, because there's so much content out there.
Yeah.
There's so much, for lack of a better word, disdain for what whatever the reason is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just look at cost of living in inflation.
Oh, yeah.
I remember at one of the guitar shops I used to teach at, there was, you have always had those old timers as guitar instructors, the old rockers, right?
Yeah.
And they would talk about,
gigging out.
Well, they would talk about a gig. They would play a gig at a bar, and they were a neighborhood bar band, and they would make $100 a man a person, and that was in the 70s.
That's crazy.
Right.
That's...
So, contrast that to, I just talked to one of my drummer friends who's a drum instructor at a shop, and he said he's playing for 4 hours for a 5-piece band, and they walk away with $400 for 3 hours of work.
The whole band does?
The whole band. And that's a bar.
That's tough, man. You gotta really, really love what you're doing to do it like that. And I heard that too. I heard that, like, these days, that's why there's so many solo artists and DJs, and you don't see as many touring bands anymore, because, like, the model for them to get paid any decent amount just isn't there anymore. It's
right.
Just, like, it's hard. It's not a lot of cash to divvy up between 5 dudes.
Well, what is that? 400 divided by 5. Can you do that?
God, it's less than $100. That's all I know.
It's less than $100. Is it $80?
Well, what's 90 times 5?
90 times 5 is
45, 450.
Yeah.
It's less than that. What's 8 times 5? 400. So it's 80. 80. Yikes.
And it just makes me go, it's weird. I've gotten pushback from Nick and Keelan at the shops that I teach at.
Have you really?
And they have said things like, and it is, to follow up on your point, the same thing. We can come in and bid. And it's both, like, satisfying to what we would do it for, right?
Yeah.
Where there's been times I'm like, I would like to add drums to this. I would like to add bass to this.
Yeah, I'd love to have a more fuller sound and all that, but...
The pie gets cut up more.
Yeah, it does.
And I can barely tolerate your creative differences.
Yeah, it's hard enough, when you start playing some bullshit song that you learned out of nowhere, and I gotta try to fucking keep up, figure it out on the spot.
You know what's funny? I'm just as annoyed as you're not trying to figure it out. Like, what the hell? So, for the listeners, sometimes I'll just randomly play a song live that we've never rehearsed before, but I've learned on my own.
And I've oftentimes never even heard.
Here's Kev Mo, Life is Beautiful, go!
It's a good song.
It's a good song.
It's a good song.
But that's what and I was also thinking about this, because we're doing the podcasts on the way to the gig, which it's pretty funny because everything I've read about singing is you're supposed to conserve your voice.
I thought about that too. This is a terrible idea.
We're gonna get there and sound like Tom Waits.
The cold ground. Yeah, it's it'll be fun. It doesn't. Maybe we'll do one on the way back. Maybe we'll change our model.
Well, I'm really excited about doing this on every gig this summer, just because we've had so many bookings. And we already missed the first one, which I think is going to take the gold for oddest show this year.
Wait, which one?
We climbed the stage at Zerbo's.
Oh, yeah, that one was stupid. Speaking of that, we're about to pass it.
Yeah. Memories.
Yeah, we get there.
Oh, I'm going to have to bleep that out, the name of that place. Because,
we don't want to... Yeah, we don't want to talk shit about our clients.
No,
right?
we're going to talk shit. We'll just beep it out. But, I don't want to be sued by them. That would be awful.
Can they sue us for defamation?
Probably. But it's their fault for having a shitty bar.
I mean...
Well, let me just explain it to the viewers.
Why don't you tell them, the viewers?
Listeners.
Okay.
And don't ever correct me again.
Well, get it right.
What started as a good idea, by the time we get to the gig, we're just like, Dad, I can't.
Okay.
I can't do it.
Get a ride home.
So, for the listeners, is the bar in question that we played at had one of those library ladders to grab the bottles of liquor, and it would swing all the way around this bar. But at the end of the bar, there was a stage on top of said ladder, and we had to climb this ladder to get to the stage. And the stage divided it was kind of weird because if you looked straight ahead on the stage, you just saw a stairwell. Or that like level, you're right in between the levels, so nobody could really get a good look at you.
Yeah, you'd have to arch your neck up to like
or
see
look down, or just like
the best. I mean, they had a little kind of upper level that there weren't even very many people sitting at, but they could kind of get a good view. But it was super weird. It was terrifying to climb up there. It was very small, very claustrophobic. Couldn't hear anything.
No, that was weird. Like we had no monitor, and this manager coming out and going, "Guitar's too loud," and then he'd just walk away. Now the vocals are too loud. Like,
yeah,
cool, man.
Super weird, and no feedback from the crowd at all. Actually, this is funny. Claire, my wife, she went out to dinner there the following Thursday, and there was a guy playing there up on that platform.
Yeah.
And he goes, "How's everybody doing tonight?" And she said no one even made a noise.
Right.
Everybody just kind of looked like, what?
Well, it's almost like you're...
God, it's so cringy.
Yeah. Well, we got the same thing. Like that one guy that came up and said that it was so cool, and...
Yeah, we got good feedback after, for sure.
But he's like, yeah, man, this place is just so detached. That where the band is, it's detached, and it's a good word for it. But I think that one might be the weirdest one out of the summer so far. Oh, of course, I'm just saying it as the summer begins.
Yeah, the summers, that was only maybe our 4th gig this year. I was kind of bummed because we had 2 lined up in May and they both canceled. But yeah, we're going to be busy this summer. We've got one just about every week.
We've already done that, man. Which ones were the...
So we had that engagement part. No, what was it? A vowel renewal, anniversary, whatever, for the British couple.
We did do that. The England, that was,
that was a fun one.
That was a fun one.
That was a good one. And then we had St. Patrick's Day at Valley's.
Gotta beat that out.
I guess only 3. I guess that was it. So.
But now it's every weekend and you're double booking.
Yeah, we have a doubleheader next weekend.
Is it next weekend?
It is. It's on Saturday.
You know, you sent me these texts, and I'm
it's
just
on
like,
the spreadsheet.
I know, you made a spreadsheet and everything.
I shared it with you.
By the way,
all the dates there.
We're linking accounts with our online store, and I get to see Keelan's online activities because we share We share the Nick and Keelan at gmail.com. First of all, your password choice is just.
Can you not say it?
I'm not going to say it, but I will make an analogy. It's like Spaceballs. When they're like, the password is 1, 2, 3. And when you told me, and I'm like, and you just go, it's my password to everything. And I just go,
here's my theory on passwords, or my methodology is the ease at which I'm going to remember it trumps the actual security of it, because I don't want to deal with the inconvenience of not being able to get in. So it's just going to be what you know what it is.
I know what it is. Yeah,
you could get into my bank account. You could get it. You could log into my.
I bet you don't even have 2-point authentication or send text messages or like verify. Like I could just use because sometimes if you
on another device,
they just go, I bet you're just like, nah, that's too much.
It was funny if something popped up and it said like, "Are you trying to log in?" I'd be like, "No, that's weird," and I'd hit OK. Yes. I'm like, make that go away. I don't want to deal with this.
Well, that was funny because I had a conversation with our online store rep, and you got a whole.
I got a transcript of the whole thing.
Yeah, that was great about it.
And all I saw was. It said, Nick says, hello, ? And then the guy comes back and says, hey, I'm happy to help you. Let me get into some things or check something out. And you go, take your time. And maybe you were being sincere, but I read it as Nick would have said that, which was, oh yeah, take your time. I got all fucking day, buddy. That's what it read to me.
You know what? When you said it like that, I took it as a huge compliment that my persona transpires over written word.
Yeah. I could. It read right through. It came through in full. Take your time. Oh.
But you know what that ruins is the idea of you can no longer bullshit people. Because I can't tell you that I had a conversation with that guy and be like, he was, you know what I was going to say?
Huh.
If you didn't see that transcript, or if you didn't know they didn't make the transcript, I was going to do my classic joke of, hey, I talked to the guy and he's wondering why I'm still playing out with you.
Oh, that one? He was going to say, yeah, the merchandise looks good.
He did say the merchandise. He goes,
I saw that.
See, you can't bullshit it anymore.
You couldn't have said, yeah, he said the merch looks good except for that guy without the beard. I feel like that would have been something.
That's my favorite joke to go to. It's just the ridiculousness of an absurd comment that somebody, like when you say my persona is, you can be picked up in written word. Sometimes I think I am so absurd that there's no way that you could take that seriously. And still some people do.
Some people get a little butthurt about it, huh?
And we've been officially canceled. Just turn it off, like.
Yeah.
There we go.
How do we end this
thing? There we go.
Yeah, do some people get a little, sometimes do they not really take your sarcasm, snark?
I've had, so there was an old drum instructor that was younger than us, I should say a long time ago, at one of the stores I taught at. And I would just be like, like how I messed with you when I first met you.
Yeah, I remember it.
Like when we were driving in the car and I just flipped you off every time you'd look over.
Yeah.
And like, you handled, that's my test. If you pass my test.
I was a good sport about it. I remember one time, because we were in the same home.
Just,
just fucking
being ridiculous. Yeah. And then one time he just